Assalamualaikum and a very good day. My name is Nur Azani binti Muhammad Zahid and I will be presenting about the introduction of bleaching process. What is palm oil? Palm oil is basically a vegetable oil in a minor components that contains nutritious attributes. So the purpose of degumming and bleaching process in the refining of palm oil is to remove an unwanted constituents in the crude oil or contaminants that adversely impact the appearance and performance of these triglyceride-based materials. And the bleaching process effectively removes some of the color, reduce the contents of chlorophyll, residual soap and gums, trace metals, oxidation products, and indirectly impacts of the derived oil color. Bleaching process appears to be a simple mixing of adsorbents and oil followed by filtration, the chemical and physical reaction occurring that is complex and greatly reliant on process variables. The variables are moisture level, temperature, contact time, and vacuum. So the efficiency of the bleaching operation is interdependent on the effectiveness of upstream process where contaminants that have the potential to interfere with the bleaching mechanism should be removed. So the bleaching earth. It is made from naturally occurring minerals such as polygorsite, which is also known as attapulgite, serpiolite, bentonite, and other minerals that all belong into the aluminium silicate family. It is consists of natural clays which have bleaching activities and other that become active only after specific treatment. So this class of materials is particularly mild in action, not promoting chemical changes in triglycerides. It shows little tendency to split soap and generally responding only modestly when bleached with acid to make it more active adsorbents. The bleaching clays contain exchange of capacity with high absorption capacity, that particle size distribution, porosity, and large surface. So the factors that determine the quality of the activated earth, the quality of the raw clay that was mined, and then the second one, the degree of acid activation. Third one, after the activated clay is washed free of the surplus acid, it must be dried to the moisture level that will operate at the optimum condition. The last one is the activated clay must not be ground so fine because it will create difficulty in filtration after use. As for problem segments, acid activated clays can be detrimental side effects in the oil. An undesirable reaction in the splitting of the triglyceride according to the formalized equation. Triglyceride will be added with water, so it will be equal to diglyceride plus fatty acid. It will be include increased levels of free fatty acids and the formation of undesirable 3-monochlorpropane 1,2-diol ester MCPD.
Assalamualaikum. I'm going to talk about process description of bleaching process. Bleaching process is one of the most important process in palm oil processing. The term bleaching refers to the treatment that is given to remove color producing substance and to further purify the fat or oil. The usual method of bleaching is by absorption of the color producing substance on an absorbent material. There are a lot of absorbent materials are being used in vegetable oil industry. For example, acid activated bleaching earth, natural bleaching earth, and activated carbon and synthetic silicates. The invention relates to a boiling bleacher used in production process of sodium benzoate and an operating process. An upper end of the bleacher is connected with a neutralization tank, an active carbon storage tank, a compressor air tank, a vacuum tank, and a filtering machine through valves and pipelines. and simultaneously the upper end of the bleacher is provided with a steam inlet pipe and a drain pipe. Pressure difference is utilized to suck sodium benzoate liquid generated in the neutralization tank and active carbon in the active carbon storage tank into the bleacher. The liquid is bubbled and boiled in the bleacher under the impact of steam, so that the liquid and the active carbon are fully mixed eventually, and the liquid is discharged into filtering machine from the bleacher by compressed air. During the bleaching process, adsorption occurs via many different mechanisms involving various physical and chemical interactions. There are several factors affecting the refining process of crude palm oil. The factors that are mentioned here are particularly focused on the upstream operation, which are bleaching. The factors are quality of CPO, bleaching time, operating temperature, operating pressure, phosphoric acid dosage, and bleaching earth dosage. The quality of the crude palm oil is of utmost importance of the refiners as it relates directly to the processing cost and product's shelf life.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone, I am Tajul Nur. In this video, I will present the problem determination in bleaching process, green technology aspect and also troubleshooting and maintenance. Generally, absorption bleaching technique is the most appropriate method in bleaching process of oil, and the most common absorbent used are natural clay, acid activated clay, carbon activated clay and silicates. Some studies reported that the carbon activated clay is expensive, but the effectiveness is not satisfying. It is also give effect to the environment and disturb the ecosystem, especially for flora and fauna. Therefore, the acid activated clay also has problem with it, which is the acid activated carbon have less amount of keratin content. Generally, the keratin content is important to give light color of oils. In addition, acid activated leads in an increment in the amount of acid center. There are few common problem and root causes, which are flow and short cycle of specification and clarity. For flow and short cycle, it happens due to slamming or blinding filter screen, which include high OR contaminations, applying pre-coat too fast, and percentage of water is too high for the temperature and pressure to remove. For off specification, it is because of OR contaminations, which affect the upstream upsets percentage of water in 0.08 to 0.10 range. The equipment failure and change the condition, and also failure to check meter or gauge. Last but not least, the clarity happen due to the hole or leak from poke hole in screen and back seals or connection in the pipeline. Other than that, pressure or flow drops by filter kick slumps of screen also main causes of clarity problem. For the green technology aspect, based on the journal that had been wrote by Muhammad Imran Ismail, where his research study is about renewable bleaching alternative for palm oil refining from waste material, states that pressed mud is the best absorbent during bleaching process. In his study, he used 3 different absorbent material, which are peanut hulls, pressed mud and rice hulls. All these 3 materials are function as bleaching clay, and they are renewable sources, waste materials, and is a good absorbent. Peanut hulls and rice hulls are good at removing metals from wastewater. Pressed mud is good at removing heavy metal from soil, while peanut hulls are plentiful, cheap, carbonization simple, easily degradable, and give small effect toward environment. From the free fatty acid analysis, it showed that pressed mud is good bleaching clay for bleaching process due to less amount of fatty acid, less amount of sodium hydroxide compared to peanut hulls and rice hulls. Generally, the most used criterion to determine the quality of palm oil is the value of free fatty acid content. The amount of free fatty acid in palm oil should be less than 5%, and it is expressed as palmic acid. As been mentioned, the free fatty acid indicates the impairment of oil quality. From this research study, the researcher also determined the peroxide value of the palm oil after using peanut hulls, pressed mud and rice hulls as bleaching clay. The lower the peroxide value of the palm oil, the higher the quality of the palm oil. Based on the analysis, it shows that the pressed mud indicates less amount of peroxide value. Besides, basically, the peroxide value is measure of oxidation or rancidity of the crude palm oil. If the peroxide value is high, it will give adverse effect to the palm oil constituents. Other than free fatty acid value and peroxide value, this journal also state the keratin value. Based from his journal, high keratin value is needed as carotenoid can be used as an alternative to supply vitamin A in the palm oil. It is also reduce the reading of color reduction. It also states that pressed mud is good because it contains high value of keratin. It can be concluded that pressed mud is also another alternative to replace typical clay like carbon activated clay and acid activated clay. In the same time, it can reduce the impact to ecosystem and environment. Some other research use activated coconut pot ash to replace bleaching clay. The coconut pot ash is good due to low value of moisture content and low value of fatty acid. The coconut pot ash has a low in iodine value. The iodine value measure overall unsaturated fat. It is also used to detect adulteration of palm oil. If the oil contains high iodine value, the oil will have rich source of polyunsaturated fatty acid, which good to health. It is also regulating and lowering blood cholesterol level and high blood pressure. High iodine of oil gives good quality of edible oil. Last but not least, the activated coconut pot ash contains low peroxide value, which is less than 10, and low density. It can be seen that activated coconut pot ash also can be used as absorbent in bleaching process and can save the ecosystem of the earth. Maintenance and troubleshooting procedure will held once a month by the technician. All the insulator that had been attached at the pipeline of bleaching equipment will be changed to the new one once a month. Insulators are important to prevent the loss of heat from the hot oil to maintain the oil in liquid state. Other than that, the tracing that had been used to determine the temperature of oil inside the pipeline and tube tracing at the side glass to measure the level of oil also being maintained and cleaned once a month. Impurities, rusting and dirt that come from the water are possible to stuck at the turbine of the pump. In the long term, the pump will require high energy to operate, which is overload, and make the pump become overheating that can lead to burning of the motor and damage the pump. The damaged pump will be repaired by the technician, but if the repairing cost is high, which is more than the actual price of a new pump, the technician will change to the new pump. Therefore, to prevent the pump from malfunction, the technician will operate the equipment regularly. Always use clean water to operate the equipment and operate the pump at least once in a month to ensure the motor of the pump is functioning well. Apart from this, sometimes when the pump is on, the oil doesn't come out from the tank. Therefore, the tank needs to be checked to ensure there is no water inside the tank, because it will prevent the oil from coming out. So the water should be removed to prevent this problem. Some other issues occur are leaking at the pipeline of the equipment. Leaking might be happen when the pipe is too old and rusting. If leaking happens, the technician will change the pipe or the pipe connector on the spot. Some other cases state that there is blockage in the pipeline due to the excess of saturated oil inside the pump. As a precautionary, the pipeline should be cleaned properly by using a water gun to guarantee there is no excess oil inside it. Next, if the temperature indicator was damaged, it will change for the new one.
Commercialization is a process that brings new product or service to the market. Firstly, the palm oil technically established an advisory in important countries. Number 2, branding Malaysian palm oil and its products. Number 3, promote the healthy and trans-free palm oil product. Number 4, promoting the palm oil-based product from sustainable development. To sustain the competitiveness, the industry should be encouraged to enhance the productivity through the higher contribution. Firstly, they need to enhance the skill, training, and professional development. Number 2, they need to promote the product diversification and expansion of sustainable approaches, and promoting the integration and commercialization of research and development between industry and research institute. For the costing, there are two major costing involved in economic viability. Firstly, the fixed investment cost and operating cost. The fixed investment cost include land, building, equipment, and machinery, while the operating costs include the raw material, utility, transportation, maintenance, and labor. For the fixed investment cost, it costs 77 million ringgit, while the operating cost is 1,424 million ringgit. As the conclusion, the bleaching is the third step in vegetable refining oil, which is it comes after the complete of effective neutralization process. The bleacher process vessel used to carry out the bleaching process. The purpose of the bleaching is to remove the color pigment of the oil.